Have you ever wondered why some of the greatest lessons in history were learned only after devastating failures? On a freezing October morning in 1871, a young engineer stood silently on the banks of the Missouri River, staring at twisted steel, shattered wooden beams, and hundreds of workers desperately trying to rescue survivors from a collapsed bridge construction site. The project had been considered one of the most ambitious engineering achievements in America. Experts praised it, investors celebrated it, newspapers called it the future of transportation. Now, it lay in ruins. As angry voices filled the air, one reporter asked a simple question: who is responsible for this disaster? The engineer lowered his head and said nothing. Years later, that same man would build one of the most famous bridges in the world, transforming American engineering forever. His name was John A. Roebling, and his story became a powerful reminder that experience is a teacher that gives the test first and the lesson afterward. Born in 1806 in Prussia, what is now Germany, Roebling grew up during a time of rapid scientific progress. Fascinated by mathematics, architecture, and engineering, he studied at some of Europe's finest institutions. Like many ambitious young people of his generation, he dreamed of building things that would outlive him. But Europe offered limited opportunities. In 1831, Roebling immigrated to the United States, seeking a better future. America was expanding rapidly. New cities appeared almost overnight. Railroads stretched across vast landscapes. Rivers that once isolated communities now demanded bridges capable of supporting the growing nation. Roebling immediately saw opportunity. At the time, transportation was one of America's greatest challenges. Rivers often interrupted railroad networks. Ferries were slow and unreliable. Traditional wooden bridges frequently collapsed under heavy loads. Roebling believed he could solve the problem. He became fascinated with wire rope technology. Most engineers relied on hemp ropes or heavy iron chains. Roebling believed steel wire cables could be stronger, lighter, and safer. Many people disagreed. Investors doubted him. Engineers questioned him. Competitors laughed at him. Yet Roebling continued experimenting. Failure followed failure. Early prototypes snapped unexpectedly. Manufacturing processes proved unreliable. Financial losses mounted. Some projects delivered disappointing results. Each mistake cost money, time, and reputation. But each mistake also taught something valuable. Roebling carefully documented every problem. He studied every broken cable. He analyzed every engineering error. While others viewed failure as proof he should quit, he viewed failure as information. Gradually, his designs improved. His wire rope technology became successful. Soon, railroads across America began using his innovations. But his greatest challenge was still ahead. In the mid-1800s, suspension bridges remained controversial. Many people considered them dangerous. Several famous bridges around the world had failed dramatically. Building a large suspension bridge over a major American river seemed almost impossible. Then came the Niagara Gorge project. The Niagara River separated the United States and Canada with powerful currents and steep cliffs. Connecting the two sides seemed impossible. Roebling proposed a suspension bridge. Critics immediately attacked the idea. They claimed trains would never safely cross such a structure. They argued the bridge would collapse under heavy loads. Newspapers questioned his competence. Yet Roebling moved forward. The construction process was difficult and dangerous. Workers battled strong winds, extreme heights, and constant technical challenges. When the bridge finally opened in 1855, many observers expected disaster. Instead, trains crossed successfully. The bridge became a triumph. Suddenly, people who once mocked Roebling began praising him. But success brought new challenges. As America industrialized, cities demanded bigger and more ambitious projects. Rivers grew busier. Transportation networks expanded. Engineers faced increasingly complex problems. Roebling continued pushing boundaries. He built larger bridges, designed stronger structures, developed better cable systems. Yet even after decades of success, he never stopped making mistakes. Every project revealed weaknesses. Every challenge exposed something he did not know, and every failure became another lesson. Then came the opportunity that would define his legacy. In the late 1800s, New York City and Brooklyn were separate cities, connected primarily by ferries. Millions of people crossed the East River annually.
During winter storms, transportation often became dangerous and unreliable. Many believed a bridge connecting the two cities was impossible. The East River was wide. Its currents were powerful. Its shipping traffic was constant. No suspension bridge of that scale had ever been attempted. Roebling proposed what seemed like madness. He envisioned a gigantic suspension bridge, larger than anything the world had ever seen. Again, critics appeared. Some engineers declared the design unrealistic. Politicians questioned the cost. Newspapers predicted failure. Yet Roebling had learned something important through decades of experience. Experts can be wrong. Failure is temporary. Lessons are permanent. Construction preparations began in 1869. Then tragedy struck. While surveying the future bridge site, Roebling's foot became trapped between a dock and a ferry. His injury seemed manageable at first, but complications developed. Infection spread rapidly. Within weeks, he died. For many observers, the project appeared finished. The visionary behind it was gone. But the lessons he accumulated through a lifetime of successes and failures remained. His son, Washington Roebling, assumed leadership. Construction became one of the most difficult engineering efforts in history. Workers suffered accidents. Technical problems emerged constantly. Financial pressures mounted. Then another disaster occurred. Washington Roebling developed severe decompression sickness while working in underwater construction chambers known as caissons. The illness left him largely confined to his home. Again, critics predicted failure. Again, newspapers questioned whether the bridge would ever be completed. But something remarkable happened. The knowledge earned through decades of experience guided every decision. Mistakes made on earlier projects prevented larger mistakes later. Failures from previous bridges revealed solutions for new challenges. Lessons paid for through years of hardship became invaluable. After 14 years of construction, the bridge finally opened in 1883. The Brooklyn Bridge instantly became one of the greatest engineering achievements in the world. Thousands crossed it on opening day. People stood in awe. The bridge symbolized innovation, determination, and human ingenuity. Yet its true foundation was not steel. It was experience. Every cable contained lessons learned from earlier failures. Every tower reflected problems solved through trial and error. Every success rested upon countless mistakes made years before. Today, more than a century later, the Brooklyn Bridge remains one of America's most recognizable landmarks. Tourists photograph it, engineers study it, historians celebrate it. But hidden beneath its beauty lies a deeper lesson. Experience is not a gentle teacher. It rarely provides instructions before the challenge begins. Instead, it gives the test first. The mistakes, the setbacks, the embarrassment, the failures. Only afterward does it reveal the lesson. John Roebling learned this truth throughout his life. Every broken cable taught him strength. Every failed design taught him improvement. Every criticism taught him resilience. And every setback prepared him for achievements that once seemed impossible. History reminds us that success is often the visible result of invisible lessons earned through failure. The people we admire most are rarely those who avoided mistakes. They are usually the ones who learn from them, because experience remains the toughest teacher of all. It gives the exam first and the lesson later.